Hello, good afternoon. My name is David Chung, Director of the MFA program here at the Stamps School of Art and Design at the University of Michigan. And joining me here is John Marshall.
Oh, my name is John Marshall. I'm the Program Director of the Master of Design program here at Stamps School.
And Wendy Dignan.
And I'm off camera, but I'm the Director of Graduate Academic Services.
So welcome to our webinar, and today we want to introduce you to our MFA graduate program. First, what I'd like to do is just to kind of go over our the way that you can interact with us here. On the side, you probably see a questions area, and feel free to write questions to us, and we will answer them by voice. Right now, I will begin with a short presentation for about 15-20 minutes on our program. And we may, if you ask questions along the way, we can try to answer them as well.
We have one already. So.
Oh, we do?
So, but
we'll get to it.
Yeah, okay. So right now, I'm going to go over into, so what will happen is we're going to disappear, but we'll still be here, but there will be a presentation showing up on your screen. Present everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome to the Master of Fine Arts program here at the Stamps. This is the Penny W. Stamps School of Art and Design at the University of Michigan. Our program, we have about 600 undergraduate students, 500 to 600 undergraduate students, and 30 to 40 graduate students. Our graduate program has been split into two programs. This year we launched the new MDes, or Masters in Design, that John Marshall just spoke about, and we also have our Masters of Fine Arts and Studio Art, so I'm going to talk to you about that right now. It is a two-year program, starting from this year, and it is an intensive studio-based program. So as you will see as I walk you through the curriculum and different areas, you'll see that most of the credits are in studio. And what that means is we have faculty and artists, coordinators, and students who are working in many different areas, including sculpture, printmaking, drawing, painting, video, filmmaking, community engagement, social practice, as well as integrative media, even performance. We have a big ceramics program, as well as fibers and installation art. So this program is not a, we don't have classes, graduate classes in specific areas, like we don't have a graduate class in printmaking, as you might find at another university. But you'll be taking courses in studio, and these are fit to what you are interested in working on. So a particular student may have an interest in printmaking or an interest in video, painting. These are, it is an integrative program in terms of discipline. It's not media specific, and you can create your own project and thesis as you move along through the program. Some students do come here with very specific interests in a particular area, and that's fine as well. Our faculty work very closely with the students. It's an advisory type of program where you choose your advisors and you work with them. So you may look into our list of faculty and see who you may want to study with. I'll be talking about this a little bit further along, but your advisor will be working with you, meeting with you maybe 7 to 8 times in a semester in studio visits. And at the core of the program is the critique, where faculty and students get together to critique your work and give you feedback. The Grad students are deeply involved in studio, but as well we have rigorous program of study in theory, history, and criticism. And there is a written component to the thesis work. So we will prepare you for those with the seminar courses. As well, you can take elective courses that can be in academic areas or in studio areas as well. And we'll talk about the vast opportunities at a large university, a research university such as the University of Michigan, where there are hundreds of different departments in 19 separate colleges and schools. And that's one of the most attractive things about an art school in a research university, as opposed to an art program that is a small private school that's off on its own, is we do have all the resources of a top-tier research university. You are, as a student, you are not only invited to interact with these other departments, but also required to take classes outside of the School of Art and Design. So let's take a look at some of the, as I walk through the presentation, we can talk about some of the different aspects of the curriculum. Did you say that you had a specific question, or is it?
We will actually answer them
As we go along? Okay. Here is a sample of some of our students' work. We have, as you can see, there's at the top right is a painter, and at the bottom we have sculptors, collage artists, as well as more conceptually based artists. It's a real wide variety. I invite you to go through to our website and see the work of our graduate students. We've just uploaded 2 new documents on our website. One is the thesis catalogs, and there will be 3 thesis catalogs from the 3 previous years, as well as a new MFA book that highlights many of the work of our current, of our recent grads. And a few highlights that you'll see in our program are the works of students, recent grads like Charles Fairbanks, who won a Guggenheim based on his MFA thesis work. He was an artist and a wrestler, and he put a camera on his head. He used to wrestle as the one-eyed cat in Mexico in the professional wrestling there. And he made a film about that. And based upon that work, which was his thesis work, he was able to be one of the youngest people to win a Guggenheim Fellowship. Also in our new book, you will see on our website, is the work of Alicia Wessler, who is one of the finalists at Art Prize this year. She's currently an artist in resident at Wave Hill in New York City, and she's interned at the Drawing Center. So there are, I won't go through the whole long list of our recent grads, but you can see the many different works of our grad students. Moving on to our curriculum here. Let's go to the next slide. And you can see in the pie chart that fully half of the credits are in Directed Studio. And Directed Studio, as I mentioned, is really the core of the program. In your first year, you'll have 9 credits of 9 studio hours of studio practice. So each student has an individual studio in our new graduate facilities. It is a 33,000 square foot, newly renovated facility where all the graduate students and the faculty have their studios and facilities. The new M program is also in. We'll be creating new renovated spaces for that program as well. The MFAs have individual studios, and also in the studios are the wood shop, metal shop, as well as the photography studio and
Printmaking.
printmaking and a large working environment for completing projects there. Yeah, and you can see pictures of those as well. It will come up. Coming back to the curriculum, we have Directed Studio, and this is, once again, it is individually directed. You work with your advisor, but it's not a class in terms of it is your time in the studio to be working on your artwork or your creative practice. And this is a research-based graduate art program. And what that means is that there are many different directions an artist might take in working on their MFA thesis. It might be in a deep studio inquiry, or it might be in a practice-based research, or it might even be in a materials research, which could be investigating how paint is operating on particular surfaces, or it could be a look at film and video, many different other aspects. And this takes place really in the studio, during the directed studio. 3 hours a semester is devoted to the group critique, which happens once a week, most often. And so you'll be critiquing twice a semester. And during this time, we're expecting students to be completing finished work, and you'll get feedback from your peers and from the other students, as well as the faculty. Usually about 2 or 3 faculty are in each critique, and as well, you may invite your external advisors to the critique. So those are really important sessions. Next are electives, and those electives can be taken at the university. You might be interested in taking a class in political science. Many of our programs at the University of Michigan are ranked in the top 10 in the country. We have a top-ranked architecture program we share the building with. We have a top-ranked school of social work, school of education, political science, Department of History of Art. The list goes on and on. But you are invited to take classes in those areas as you as it pertains to your studio practice. The next portion you'll see is the dark blue part, which is seminars. And these are required each semester. We have an intro seminar called Research Methods, where you will be with your cohort and introduced to research in studio art, as well as in how to conduct research in a large university, such as the University of Michigan. And then there are topical seminars, which are led by our faculty and sometimes invited faculty, and these may be a variety of topics, from writing, looking at narrative or fiction in studio practice, to the idea of avant-gardism in art, or maybe in media practice. So those are topical seminars. Usually 2 of them are offered each semester. The history, theory, and criticism, and these requirements can be taken depending on, occasionally we will be offering our own courses in this area, but largely these are also offered throughout the university. And the last component is the international experience or international project, and this is one of the unique features of our MFA graduate program. There are very few graduate programs that offer an international project or experience that is fully funded, but in our case, it is a requirement. It is a 3-credit requirement, and for you to further study in a international setting, such as in another country, you may want to go to Carrara, Italy, and learn how to carve marble, or you may want to go to a fellowship or residency in Warsaw, Poland, or you may want to complete a course of study or an exhibit in Indonesia. And these are all things which our former students have done. And if you look on our website, you'll see a variety. All the students have posted their international projects on our main webpage. That gives you a snapshot of our curriculum. And so should I take a break here to answer any questions or move right along?
you will still answer these questions as you get to the end.
Okay. This next slide is a look at the curriculum showing the two-year program. It is a 60 credit hours. So you can see the directed studios, the seminars, the history, theory, and criticism classes, the electives, the international project, and following that is the thesis, which is actually made up of 3 components. There is the exhibition or project component, and after that is the written thesis, which is primarily a supporting document, and the third component is an oral presentation. So those are our curriculum in a snapshot, and this is achieved in 2 years. Faculty are, of course, a key component of graduate study at STAMPS. We find the relationship between the faculty and the students to be key, and it is important for students to identify faculty they want to work with, and we want to really build this relationship actually in the admissions process. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. We have a large faculty for an art school. We have 40 full-time tenured and tenure-track faculty. 26 of them are designated as MFA faculty, and those are the faculty that you would want to work with. But we also have a large number of, we have about 30 lecturers, as well as about 30 affiliated faculty. And you will see the list of them on our main web page. However, for the admissions process, you should look in the MFA application section, and there are designated the 26 faculty. And among those, we have 4 recent Guggenheim winners. We have 1 MacArthur Fellowship professor, as well as a number of National Endowment for the Arts individual fellowship winners, artists who have exhibited widely across the country at major museums and exhibition venues. And this is a really important part. Our faculty are active, they're working. As a part of a research university, it is a critical component of the faculty that they are working artists and designers exhibiting. It makes a very big difference. We have David Turnley, a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer, Andy Poskovic, printmaker extraordinaire who exhibits regularly. I think he's exhibiting right now in New York. Heidi Kamau just had a solo show in Chelsea. Andy Kirshner is currently finishing a feature film, a musical, I believe. Osman Khan is a finalist in the Art Prize. He's, I guess that's going to be announced pretty soon, who the winner is. But he's one of the 12 finalists. We have Carol Jacobson, who works with women prisoners' rights, Jim Cogswell, well-known painter, Susan Crowell, ceramicist, Phoebe Gleckner. We have one of the only tenured comic book artists in the country, and she is known for her book Diary of a Teenage Girl, which is currently being made into a Hollywood film. Irina Arsakova, a well-known feminist art theorist, as well. We have a long list of professors in our regular list there. Lou Marinaro, a figurative sculptor. Well, I won't go through the entire list there, but that's a little bit of an introduction to our faculty. I talked a little bit about the international project, and this is a vital component of the MFA experience. Students go through an application process. So in their first year, you will start thinking about where you might want to go do this residency, fellowship, or workshop. And usually we recommend you do it in May or June. So you start identifying places to go, work close. Sandy Wiley, our international coordinator, and also there's a committee that will review your proposal, and this is then gone through a review process, and once your proposal is approved, we will provide the funding for your transportation, your lodging, a per diem, and other expenses related to your travel. Usually it's about 3 to 5 weeks, and it culminates in a project like an exhibition or a book or film or a type of project that explains what you did and why you did it. On the slide, you can see a photograph of, I believe that's is it Greenland? Iceland, where Pia Lice went 2 years ago. FAQs.
This is a good time
Okay.
for FAQs. So one of the first questions that we received was, what do most graduates of the MFA program do after graduation?
Oh, well, most of the MFAs are passionate artists who want to exhibit and participate in exhibition venues or at museums, residencies, different art centers around the country. Recently, we've had students who've taken internships at the Whitney Museum of American Art, at the Drawing Center. Some people get really involved with community centers and teaching. Several of our grads do go on to teaching because the MFA is a terminal degree and it's required for teaching in a lot of schools. So that attracts a lot of students. We certainly give you training to be a teacher, not only at the college level, but at different levels of education. Artists, we've had a variety of different experiences. Some artists have gone on to work on film projects. Some have gone on to work with other artists as studio assistants. And some have gone on to open galleries or open commercial spaces and work with commercial galleries. So it's a real variety in terms of what our recent grads do. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, next question. Who would you recommend to not attend STAMP's MFA program? Who is this program not designed for?
Wow. That's tough to say. I would say it is open to most artists, but I think it's really open to artists who are self-driven and who have a really broad sort of outlook on art making. It really isn't, I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the webinar, but it's not really intended for those students who are interested like in a specific MFA, such as in printmaking. Although you can do printmaking here, we don't have specific graduate classes in that area. But we've had printmakers here, but there are other programs where you do get an MFA in that particular area. So the one thing to understand is, but one thing to understand is that your critiques take place with artists in many different media. So it's not a media-specific program, and we really encourage that sort of interaction with artists working in different media. A lot of students come here and they actually change their media. They might come in as a painter and they may end up as a filmmaker. But it is very much in the studio arts, in the exhibiting arts, and in community engagement is where our program lies.
Okay, a couple more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Do most grad students come into the program with a fairly concrete project?
That's a very good question. we are looking for applicants who have had some time out of school and experience in the professional world and who have a little bit of an exhibition record. But we don't necessarily require someone to have a specific project, but they should have a direction they're going. They should be ready to go on day one. They should be exhibiting and have a studio practice before they apply.
Okay. And then as a photographer, many of my projects require time outside of the studio. Is there flexibility with that?
Well, there is plenty of time to be working on your project outside of class. You do have to go to the seminar, which is once a week, but we've had photographers who, during the summer times, we have a full 4-month summer break, and they have gone. Rolando Palacio went to border towns of the Southwest to photograph for 2 years the immigrant population. We currently have a photographer, Emily Schiffer, who is actually, she's traveling right now this week, but she travels extensively in Eastern Europe, in Africa, and throughout the United States. But during the semester, you are required to attend the seminar and the critiques. So if you can work your schedule around those, and you can talk to your professors and probably work an arrangement out if you have a pressing project that you need to get done. But so I don't know if that kind of answers your question there. And so a couple of other questions that have come up is, do students focus in a specific medium? And no, students are allowed to work in the medium of their choice, and they may try a variety of them. Some do stick with their medium, and that is fine. We have people who are hardcore painters, and they want to be a painter, and they want to really explore what painting is all about, and they may come in as a painter and end as a painter, and that's okay. We support that as well. So it's not as if this is a program where we're going to try to steer you in a different direction in terms of we want you to explore different avenues, but it is not a media-specific program. Let's see, another question that came up is the GRE required? And the answer is no. And do you accept applicants who do not have undergraduate degrees in art? Yes, we do. However, applicants should demonstrate an ability to carry out independent creative work. So we have had, let's see, 4 years ago, we had a student who was a major in biology, but she had a strong studio practice, and she incorporated her work in biology into her work. So to answer your question, it's not a strict requirement, but it is an expectation that you would have a BA or BFA in art. Application deadline. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the application process. And the deadline is coming up January 1. You can see the website, the web address. It's in black as opposed to in white. It was in the previous presentation, but you can go there and see some of the details. And how to apply. Well, you submit your application to a part of the university that handles all graduate admissions. It's called Rackham. So you would apply through them, and then we get the application from Rackham, and you should include your standard biographical information. This is very important. We want to know who you are and what your experiences have been in the past. It's also very important for us to know how you will interact with the faculty and the other students, how the cohort will be formed. And your background information is very important. Your creative work statement is, of course, vital. We want to know how you articulate your ideas about studio and art making, and what your ideas are, and how you form the sort of contextual basis of your work. Along with the creative statement, you want to identify 3 STAMPS faculty. And this is actually happening now. Now applicants are contacting us, and they are emailing us to get to know us, and coming, actually some applicants are coming to visit the school and or calling us. I'd be happy to talk to you on the phone. You can email me and I will contact you back, as well as Wendy can answer questions for you about the academic side, and also some of the services that the school provides. You should look up our profiles on our website, as well as looking up faculty work, and feel free to email them and contact them if you wish before you apply. Also highly recommend it that you do so. A personal statement. This is going back to who you are and why you want to come, and we want to know about your experiences. Maybe you've had a life-changing experience that has inspired you to want to train as a professional artist, exhibiting artist, and we want to know what that is. Of course, we'll need your official transcripts, a resume, and 3 letters of recommendation. Evidence of English proficiency, very important, since we do conduct most of our teaching and advising session in English. Wendy, what is the
minimum score for the TOEFL, the internet-based TOEFL, is 84.
So that's 84 for the TOEFL. However, international students at other universities,
if they receive a degree from a U.S. institution, a bachelor's degree from a U.S. institution, the TOEFL is not required.
Okay. Application fee, non-refundable, but that one goes to the university. How to submit your portfolio. No more than 20 examples. We use Slide Room, which is now sort of the online system for applying to not only art schools, but also to jobs in the profession as well. It should be recent work. Really, we want to know what you're currently up to. As an example, in our critiques, we've established that you should be showing work that you've made this semester. And so we are interested in what you did before, but we would like you to include your most recent work. You can include images of your 2D work, as well as video works and audio works, but clearly label them as the type of work that is being shown. Really, the explanations do help. We do go over every single portfolio, we look at all the artwork, and we read the captions. So those captions are important as far as, especially if it's a time-based work. Upload to Slide Room, and there is a $10 fee for Slide Room, I believe.
Yes.
Planning ahead. That is really important. Right now, as I mentioned, is a time to start thinking about applications. January 1 is the deadline. You want to make sure someone has proofread and edited your statements, and it's a good idea to apply early. What date do we have an open house here?
November 14th.
So November 14th, we will have an open house, actually it's for MDes and MFA, is that right?
Yep.
And you can come and tour the school and see the facilities and meet the faculty and other graduate students. Financial support. We have a wide range of financial support. I think I'll turn this over to Wendy.
Okay. With our programs, all of our applicants are considered automatically for financial assistance. For those applicants that are from the United States, I strongly encourage you to also fill out the FAFSA form because that makes you eligible for all of the federal funding that's available. But within the Stamps School of Art and Design, all of our grad students, like I said, are considered for funding. The primary way that we can do this is through assistantships. So we might have grad students work as instructors, which would be a graduate student instructor, assisting in courses with the undergraduate students. We would have them work as graduate student staff assistants, maybe working with our communications department or our exhibitions department. And also we have opportunities occasionally for research assistants. So all of those types of positions then can provide graduate students with tuition waivers and stipends. And depending on the position and the number of hours we require, the tuition waiver could be partial or up to 100% of your tuition. In addition to that, graduate students in STAMP school receive $2,000 discretionary funds to be used for materials related to making your work or research expenses. We have a long list of things that are approved and a shorter list of things that are not approved. In addition to that, graduate students can apply for research grants through the Rackham Graduate School as well as through the STAMP School. And conference travel, the Rackham Graduate School also offers funding for conference travel if you're going to a conference and presenting at a conference, and many of our students do that. David also talked about the international project, and yes, it is a requirement of the program, but we also help you with this because we fund the program. So when you write your proposal and your proposal is approved, then the funding is released to you so you can start making the plans for that.
Thank you, Wendy. The University of Michigan is a well-financed and resourced university. I think they just announced it has the largest endowment of a public university in the country, I think $7 billion. But our graduate program is really well funded in terms of research opportunities, teaching assistantships, but also if there are any needs that come up, we will try to help find a way to support it.
Now, we did have a question related to this that came up.
Mm-hmm.
And is there time for freelancing on the side to earn some extra?
It is a, we do expect students to be fully engaged in study and studio work. It would be very difficult to have another job, but you could certainly freelance occasionally, I think, and certainly during the summer that would be possible. But you would be really, for the 2 years, you would be fully engaged in research and study and studio practice. It is there's a lot of work to be done for your degree, and so I would say it's possible, but it would probably be minimal. Yeah. Let's see. Our school, the Stamps School of Art and Design, has one of the best visiting speakers programs and visiting artist and designer programs in the country. We have a weekly list of really amazing speakers, leaders in industry, leaders in society, in innovation. As an example, we had Phil Gilbert last week from IBM. We had Pussy Riot from Russia when their only US stops was in Ann Arbor. We've had Anna DeVere Smith this year. We've had last year Ken Burns, Oliver Stone. This year, Fred Tomaselli. So from the very famous to young emerging artists who may be unknown but doing incredible work, they come to our Stamps Speaker Series. The other thing about the Stamps Speaker Series is that they are invited and often do interact with graduate students the day following their speech. So as an example, last year we had the well-known Pakistani painter Shazia Sikanda, and she came and did studio visits with the graduate students. And as well as our long list of designers who do that as well. Along with the weekly speakers, we have a robust visiting artist in residency series called the WIT Visitors Program. And these are artists who come and stay with us for usually about a semester, and they work on projects, they work with students. We had the open-ended group who did a 3D visualization of Detroit recently, an amazing project where students got to work on that. But any Reynolds right now who's doing a film project. We've had Trimpin here who's made musical instruments out of metal, and students get to work as assistants on those projects as well. And they work here in residence in the art building. We also have short-term visitors, and these are visitors who come, they're invited by 2 or 3 faculty, and they may come for a one-day workshop and do a classroom visit, do studio visits. So we have a wealth of visitors who are coming through our program, but not only through the school, but through the school, the College of Architecture, and through Department of History of Art and other departments. There are a constant flow of amazing speakers. When I came to Ann Arbor, I was astonished at what was going on here in this town, and it's very difficult sometimes to choose what to go to because there's so much going on in terms of film festivals, art exhibitions, and visiting lecturers. Let's see. Here's a list of some of our speakers. Philip Glass came here 2 years ago. We were the premier stop for Einstein on the Beach before it went to New York and to Toulouse in France. Well, you can see the long list of really amazing people: Temple Grandin, Robert Wilson, who came with Philip Glass, and also, Anthony Gormley, the well-known sculptor from England. One of our grad students just went to his studio this summer as a studio assistant. So many artists, students get to work with these artists after on. Bill T. Jones, Mary Ellen Mark, well, the list goes on and on. I will move on to the next slide, which is Ann Arbor. And Ann Arbor is really an amazing college town. As you can see, it's listed as one of the favorite college towns in the United States. Great food scene here, amazing farmers market, a lot of restaurants, a lot of performances and events going on here. One of the world's best known experimental film festivals is here in Ann Arbor. Big film town, big music town. It's about 100,000 people. But we're also very close to Detroit, which is an incredible art scene that's developing there, as well as one of the largest urban enigmas in the country of what happened in Detroit. Why did half the population leave in the past 10 years? What is happening in Detroit, and why are people moving here? Why are people interested in the urban space and the social history of Detroit? It's an amazing nearby metropolitan city. It's about 45 minutes away. And the STEM school does do a lot of projects in Detroit. A lot of our grad students actually exhibit in Detroit. They may even teach classes in Detroit. So we have a very strong connection to the city as well. But Ann Arbor, a great town in itself. At our university, we have really amazing facilities. Across the street, we have a multi-camera HD studio. We have 3D imaging, virtual reality imaging. We have amazing, one of the largest libraries with over 7 million volumes in the country. A robotics institute. We're based in North Campus, where there is the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, as well as the College of Engineering, with all the facilities available there in industrial design and computer engineering as well. And there are some photographs. There's a photograph of our studios, and you can see at the bottom left is a picture of the big open space I was talking about in the graduate studios, and you can see sort of there's some graduate students gathering there. Also in the top you can see that graduate students have 24/7 access to all the undergraduate spaces and studios, or we just call it there for our students, graduate or undergraduate, the different workshops, labs. So there's another, in addition to the wood shop and the metal shop in the graduate facilities, there's yet more of them in the main art building. And let's see, maybe it is, aha, here is our chart of different ways artists may collaborate with dancers, climatologists, architects, astrophysicists, and students have done this. They have collaborated with people from anthropology. We have students who take on other certificate programs such as museum studies, which is a 12-credit, 18-credit graduate program, and also includes an internship at a major museum. We have artists working with curators, with social workers, and entrepreneurs. And probably it's time for us to show our faces again.
We're getting there.
So here are some photographs of some of our students in a variety of activities. Great dance department and space. That's the probably the astronomy program. Oh, we did this. Yep. Mm-hmm. And for more information, go to stamps, and for the stamps.umich.edu. And for the last 10 minutes or so, I think we'll show our faces here. So hello. We are back. Are there any other questions? So here are a couple of questions that have come to us are FAQs. Do you have teaching opportunities for graduate students? And I think we covered this a little bit, but we certainly do. We have teaching opportunities not only in studio, where you would assist a professor in a studio class, such as the senior thesis class, but also in academic courses, such as history of art, context in theories in art and design. So students you get a variety of experiences, including a GSI, where you have your own section of 20 students, 15 to 20 students, and you will lead discussions with them, grade their papers. So you get real teaching experience, actually sometimes on the day you arrive. And there are other teaching assistantships where you might work in a studio class, like a painting class. So there's a variety of them. What happens is that students apply for these positions, and then they are selected by the review committee. Let's see. And also there are other GSI non-teaching type of opportunities where students work in exhibitions, that's with the gallery, to learn how to do studio exhibition prep, like hanging a show, how to publicize a show. We have assistantships in, we have very specific project-related ones where we may have, this year we had a group of visiting sculptors and designers from Vienna, Austria, and a grad student was assigned to work with them. We have a grad student in the studios, we have a grad student in the international office, and these positions will change from semester to semester, but there are plenty of work and teaching experiences for the grad students. Do international students receive financial support? International students are eligible for the same support as domestic students as listed above. The only thing that's different with the international students is their international project. Since they are international already, they may do their international project in the United States. So that's the only difference about the program for international students. Can the programs be completed while working full-time? And the answer to that is no, because really it is an intensive program, and we are finding that students are using all their time to do their study and their studio work. Let's see. So we would not recommend having a full-time job and working on the graduate degree at the same time. We've covered the GRE, that we don't require that, and we talked about English proficiency. We highly recommend an interview with our faculty or with our graduate faculty here. The faculty to student ratio, well, I talked about the number of faculty we have for our school, which is quite large. I think, John, you said it was about 2 to 1?
Yeah, I mean, you said it was about 28 full-time, 26 or 28 full-time faculty for the MFA program. So that's the people who are eligible to be advisors, but then you have external advisors. So you have professors from other units that would be on the thesis committee. You know, I mean, the entire faculty is, you know, close to 40. So just because someone's advising on a design program doesn't mean to say that you can't talk to them. So, I mean, if there's 8 students in a cohort in the MFA program, then to be honest, they're outnumbered by the faculty. So there's a small number of students and a relatively large number of faculty. So the ratio is pretty good that way.
It's a very good ratio of faculty to students.
So we have a question from our online audience
Mm-hmm.
About how many people apply to the MFA program every year, and that is a great question. Last year, we received, I think it was 140.
No, 187.
Right, 186, 187. I should have looked up that number. We average about 175 applications, and we will narrow the applicant pool down through various review processes by the faculty, and eventually we'll select a group to interview, and our interviews will be online, and we make our final decisions from there.
Yes, so we have a large applicant pool, and there are approximately 6 to 10 spaces for each year. We don't have a hard number. We select the students and the students who want to come to our program. But it is I would say it's a highly selective process. And so it is reviewed by all the applications are reviewed by all 26 of the MFA designated faculty. They take a first look at your portfolios. But feel free to email if you have any other questions about that. Let's see, we have a few minutes left here. So someone asked, where can I find a schedule of courses? And those classes are on the STAMPS course on the website at stamps, actually, umich.edu/courses.
One thing you might want to mention, David, is the fact that graduate students, if there was some process or some technique they wanted to learn, they could actually take an undergraduate course for graduate credit. So they could, you know, be admitted to a course by the instructor, but they would be held to a more rigorous, higher level result. So they would actually take a 500 level or a graduate level.
Thank you, John, for bringing that up. That's a really important point, because as I mentioned, we didn't have specific classes in studio techniques for graduate students, but you can take an undergraduate course such as in printmaking or in video or sculpture. We just had Professor Lou Marinaro here, and he was pouring bronze today, and students can take a course such as that for their towards their graduate degree. That is entirely a welcome situation for students here, is to take one of the upper level undergraduate courses. And many of our grad students do that. Sometimes they end up teaching one of those classes.
Mm-hmm.
Just a final note about the thesis. So the thesis is the most important part of your work here as a graduate student. And the thesis is, your major. It's like a solo exhibition or a performance or a film screening of your work. But you do need to form this committee, as John has and Wendy have been talking about. You form a committee with 4 faculty members, 2 that are from the STEM school and 2 that are external. And then these advisors meet with you to give you feedback, review your work, and also they're present there for your written thesis as well as the oral presentation. So that's a little bit, I forgot to mention that when I was talking about the thesis, is how you work with faculty in that situation. Okay, let's see. We are just about out of time. And if there are any other questions out there, maybe any closing statements? Yeah.
Contact us.
Mm-hmm. Contact us. We look forward to seeing you. Once again, this is a wonderful program. We're looking for artists who are passionate about their work, who want to train as a professional exhibiting artist, who want to expand their knowledge in the art and also in the history, theory, and criticism of art as well. So please do apply. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.